Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another show. Did Sadhguru kill his wife? I don't think so. It'd be a very huge surprise if the evidence came true that he did. I don't see a reason why he would. He's a spiritually enlightened master, one of the most enlightened human beings that's currently walking this planet Earth. Why would he do something so egregious as that? It makes no sense. I think the problem is with Indian media has portrayed him in a certain light, and because not all the evidence is there, we're going to get to why that's the case. They kind of foreshadow him or paint him as a bad person because this is the only thing that sticks, and this is the only thing that really gets the energy riled up. Oh my god, what? Sadhguru killed his wife? Oh, no way. That's what all the media in India are saying. I'm guessing here. I'm assuming. I don't live in India. But what I will say is that primarily my YouTube channel is focused towards Sadhguru, and that's the being that has benefited my life the most. Most of the comments that I get when I make a Sadhguru's video, it's either something about the WEF, the fact that he goes and speaks to business leaders, or the fact that he ended his wife. That's what they mostly comment. Did you know that Sadhguru did this to his wife? Oh my God, can you believe that? Yeah, how do you know he did that? Were you there? No, you weren't there. Were you just listening and believing all the tabloids that they're saying? No. Go look at all the positive things he did. Go look at his positive message. Go look at what he said about it, especially in Sadhguru's exclusive videos. There's a whole 12 video series of him talking about his wife and the whole exactly what happened to his wife. And yeah, all that happened there. But yeah, don't believe everything you hear on the news. I wanted to say something else, but I completely forgot. So I'm gonna turn the attention off to James and my co-host here, also a Sadhguru devotee and the person that originally thought about this topic. So thank you very, very much, James, for being here. Please let us know. What do you think? Did Sadhguru really do this to his wife?
First off, it's good to talk to you again, Shiva. We're on a roll here and we're making some waves, and this is going to be a pretty big wave that we're going to have to ride into probably a couple of chapters on this because there's a lot of information that we're going to have to cover, and we're probably not going to have enough time for it. But let me get right on the subject here. That way we don't lose anybody up front. First off, this topic is different than the other topic you were just talking about, the WEF. We saw what Sadhguru did with that whole thing. We did not see anything with his wife. Okay. None of us were there. The Indian media wasn't there. We weren't there. This happened who knows how many years ago. Shiva, you might not have even been born. So with the WEF stuff, we all saw what happened with that. That was in front of the whole world to see. Okay, everybody saw that part. We saw what happened there. Everybody saw that. Now your interpretation is going to be on however you take life in. But when it comes to his wife uh, doing mahasamadhi, there's so many things I need to bring up about this because first I just want to say a lot of quote unquote the Western world doesn't quite understand how things are in India regarding gurus. So most spiritual gurus are not family people. Most of them do not have a wife and children. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. I didn't even realize that for a while. But I found that out speaking with the Indian monk that I was telling you about before, and he's like, Sadhguru is a family man. You know, they look down on that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, we were talking about mahasamadhi in the previous video, and that attainment is only for a handful of people, and it's the highest level of spirituality anybody on this planet can reach. And as you know, most of those people just happen to be of the male gender. So I don't know how many females you've ever heard of doing that. maybe you could let me know later. So, first and foremost, I want to say that I want to lean on the side of saying, no, I don't think Sadhguru did any malicious acts toward anybody in this world, including his wife. Okay, I want to lean on that side just because of how good of a being he is. But because of those other two things that I just talked about, and another thing that I want to bring up is that uh, a lot of people don't realize that human sacrifice is and has always been part of living here on this planet, unfortunately. Um, Doing certain rituals to reach certain goals, and obviously, you've heard about certain people in the media, you know, their relatives passing away or them passing away, and certain famous people. I could bring up just hundreds of them off the head. But there's a lot of bad things going on in the me in these types of people with a lot of money and a lot of influence and a lot of attention. So, like I said, I don't think that he did it, but I'm just saying there's a lot of, and I don't really care what the Indian media says and what Indians are saying, and because a lot of that has to do with attacking Isha, like that's coming in from you know different religious institutions trying to shed bad things on that institution, obviously from other religious institutions doing that. So anyway, I'll just pass it off back to you.
Yeah, that's a good point you raise that, well, you're leaning on the side that he didn't do it, but the fundamental truth is that none of us were there. So, in fact, I can't even claim yes or no. All I can say is maybe. And why? Because I wasn't there. But at the same time, people were there. This is not some behind the scenes Sadhguru and his wife were in some forest together and something happened and nobody knows the answer. No, people were there. They were. This was in a yoga center, and during that time, this is many many years ago, many decades ago. This was already starting to flourish. So Sadhguru's wife talked to many people, and there wasn't any kind of doubt that she never came up to somebody and said, "Oh, Sadhguru is threatening me." Nothing like that. What she did was she came up to a lot of people, and I know this based on watching Sadhguru's exclusive. She said, "Okay, I want to leave. I want to consciously leave this place." And she's been planning this for many months. And then one day, that's exactly what happened. And it happened during a meditation, funny enough, or ironically. And Sadhguru was, of course, leading the meditation, but there were dozens of people inside of the meditation hall or the meditation room. And then all of a sudden, she decided, okay, she needs to go to the bathroom. She removed all her jewelry. She came back. That's what's required before you actually leave. That no metals on your body. And then she was gone, and people were there. There was no foul play made. The only issue that people found with this is that they cremated the body very quickly. That's what they decided, and well, that was their choice, I guess. I don't know why Sadhguru would want to wait for some police officers to come and investigate something that wasn't even needed. So it's something that happened. Okay, it's very clear. This is done, and yes, it's time to go. It's time to perform the necessary rituals. And also in India, this is also common that once a person does shed this experience, it's done within 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours. So it's not something uncommon either. Just to remind you. So yes, I hand it back over to you. What do you think about this?
Yeah, the Indian culture or Hindu culture or whatever you want to call it, they tend to you know cremate the body, like maybe right there on their land on a bed of wood, right? I've seen this with other kind of like some famous Indian guy from YouTube doing food and stuff, and then they actually showed him being cremated on a bed of wood. So yeah, that is a great point that you brought up. The only thing that like I have this mystery about is this whole word meditation. This word meditation is a very very broad word, and I think that you like to think of it as paying attention to your insides, basically, or your thoughts, or your body, or something to do with you. So do you have any idea of what kind of meditation they were doing or were practicing, or were they laying down? Were they sitting? Like, do you have any, because you're watching all these Sadhguru exclusive, could you enlighten me on this a little bit if you know anything?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I would like to share this experience that Sadhguru's exclusive videos are one of the highest quality videos on mysticism that I've seen online anywhere, period. And you should, whoever you are listening out there, you should invest, it's like $6 or $7 American dollars to go and purchase this and watch this for yourself. So first and foremost, that is, the evidence is there. So what was said is generally the way that I understand during this time that Sadhguru's wife decided to leave. They were doing just very basic. I don't really know what meditation they were doing, but they were sitting down, and Sadhguru was kind of leading the interaction. Everybody had their eyes closed, and they were just kind of silent and aware of themselves. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe to kind of tie this off, also that the meditation that she was doing, the story goes that Sadhguru, Viji's wife, came to Sadhguru and said, "Hey, I want to consciously leave this way." And he said, "Okay, well, when are you going to go?" He was kind of joking with her because he didn't take this seriously. No, she said, "No, I'm serious. Everything is perfect in my life, and this is exactly to the time that I want to leave. I can mess things up in the future, so I don't want to do that. I want to consciously leave during this time." And he said, "All right, well, just use this sound. Just chant Shambho, the sound Shambho, 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 Shambho." And she exactly started doing that, and with great intensity. So then Sadhguru realized this is becoming a little bit too intense, and he tried to kind of dampen that energy down in so many ways. You'll have to watch the show to find out how. And but eventually she persisted, and she attained the ultimate goal of spiritual liberation.
So the chanting of Shambho, is that like vocally or just in your mind?
Both, both.
Both. Wow, that's powerful doing both of those.
Well, not simultaneously, I'm sure, but if you can
No,
say
no,
it,
no, not simultaneous.
yeah, yeah.
Not simultaneously, no. So yeah, that I mean, you're bringing up some good points here. That saying that, I could see how that would really raise the energy. And this is what I want to bring it back to is like this is becoming to be very real. I'm glad we're having this conversation because can an older person, let's say in their 80s, attain mahasamadhi as easily as, how old was she? Like in her 30s, maybe? Because the energy obviously goes down over time.
Yeah, that's a good point. A technical question. I think that especially if you're on the spiritual path for a long time, then it's much easier to attain at year 80 because you're much more competent, much more stability has been built in your energy, especially if you're not dissipating yourself. Much more energy can be built the older that you get. My body's energy is continuously increasing as the years go by. At the same time, maybe if you're both novices and you're just beginning on this path, probably it'll be easier for a younger person to do this because less conditioning and less kind of life. So it's a tricky question.
Yeah, I could see. So, but pertaining to, this handful of people who are reaching the highest level of spirituality, do you have any idea what age most of these people are doing it, or is it? I know, like I've heard of some of these, maybe from Sadhguru exclusives. Like some people will do it like before a certain age. What is it, like 16 or something like this?
From what Sadhguru has described, from what I understand, it's usually the common age is 32, 33 years old. This is when most yogis leave because certain changes happen in the nature of your body at this time. Great barriers are let go of or dropped, and it's very easy to take the next step out of this place. So 32, 33.
That's most people are doing it around that age.
Yes.
But does it happen like 65, 75, 85? Does that sometimes happen?
Well, the way that it's described is if you don't really have strong mastery over your body and you're very into meditation in this way, by the time 32, 33 comes, you lose certain bond with the earth and you can kind of leave at your will, or maybe not even at your will. Sometimes it just kind of happens that you open the crown of the space up and things happen and you go. It's very beautiful. It's not nothing to be nothing to cry over. But when people choose to go at a later time, it's a conscious choice, most likely. That if you're 60, 70, 80, it's most likely that you've gained some mastery over the system, and then you cross your legs and you decide, okay, today is the day, time to go. So it's not really an unconscious process; it's a conscious process.
Okay, so that's what I was getting at. So later on in life, you're becoming more conscious of what's going on in this world with you and your body. Earlier on, you're saying like early 30s, maybe they don't exactly know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking. So like after we had this talk about mahasamadhi, I'm thinking because like people pass away in their sleep all the time, and people always say that's the best way to go. Obviously, no pain, right? So I'm thinking maybe when this happens, maybe they are attaining mahasamadhi without knowing, because you're talking about your astral body leaving, and then there's just one more step to taking the rest of it with you. And maybe some of these people are doing it without knowing. I mean, when they're older, when in their 80s, but they don't quite know anything about what we're talking about.
I would uh, I would have to disagree. I don't think that people at an older age are this wouldn't be classified as mahasamadhi is what I'm trying to say. That I've seen some people in Ukraine leave at a very old age in their sleep, and I could feel what that's like. That's you've lived a very long time, and maybe God comes knocking at the door in your sleep, and you kind of have some experience, then you go. So it's really not conscious in that way. Mahasamadhi is a very conscious choice. It's like you getting up and walking out of this chair, or it's like you leaving the door, or it's like taking off your clothes. It's when you decide to do this, okay, it's time to do this. There's no, yeah, accident.
So I have a really good question regarding, because you and I seem to disagree when it comes to. I seem to think that there's no free will. I feel as though Sadhguru was chosen. I don't really. I mean, like for that amount of what he's doing to happen, it's kind of hard for him to like just make it all happen like that. Like we talked about before, obviously the stars have aligned for him. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, you're saying that you could possibly train yourself to, get a lot of energy and become master of your energies and become a shakwashara and all these other types of stuff. And I'm kind of on the other side of the fence saying I feel like we really don't have that much control, because I want to just say it right here. If I was in control of myself, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in. You know what I mean? I would be in a mansion, and you would be with me, and we'd have, acres, and we'd be doing Isha over here. But obviously, I don't have control like Sadhguru does, So maybe say something to that. Like, can anybody do this, or are only a certain few able chosen to do this?
Yeah, me too. Meaning, I want to be in some mansion with $1 billion or $1 trillion, and why is it not happening? Well, there's so many unconscious factors and forces ruling below the conscious awareness that you really have no control over yet. But the name of the game is to become conscious. And also, similarly, making money is a bricklaying job, so to speak. You lay bricks and soon you have a house, and that's how it works. So some people stumble upon a big pile of bricks and it's easier for them, some aren't, and that also has many causes. But coming back to the topic of mahasamadhi, yes, anybody can do this. Everybody can do this. Everybody has the ingredients inside of themselves to do this. But can you find the door? That's a totally different topic. And are you competent enough to get out of the seat and walk to the door and open the door? Most people are not. Most people, their legs don't even work for them to do this in this metaphor. So it takes practice, it takes awareness, it takes self mastery, it takes meditation skill. It takes a lot. Most importantly, it takes energy. So everybody can do this, but can everybody do this? No. It's yeah.
So yeah, I had something good to say there, but I kind of lost it.
You'll come back.
Um, I did want to bring one thing up off topic. Congratulations on reaching 5,000 subscribers on your channel. That's very good. You're on the right track. And congratulations on your Rudraksha Mala venture.
Thank you
I
very
know
much.
that you're saying to not use ghee and not use the whole milk to condition those with. But while I was shopping for some Rudraksha Malas some months ago, I did know, I was looking at some very high quality ones that were pretty expensive in the thousands. And I noticed that they were using, a vegan alternative, which is coconut oil. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but coconut is a super food. And if you get like liquid coconut oil, you could actually use a brush and brush it on each individual one. So that right there could solve the problem. I don't quote me on this, but I think it's real. Also, the ones I was looking at had wool in between each seed. Are yours actually cotton, or are you sure it's cotton?
I I would I don't actually know for certain. I'm gonna have to ask the farmer, but it looks
Yeah,
like
it
it's
could be.
cotton. It's not. I don't think it's wool.
You don't think it's wool because it could be wool because I noticed the ones that look like that they had wool in between. Anyway,
Mm-mm.
I was just trying to do a filler here because there was something else that I wanted to talk about with the mahasamadhi,
Yeah,
but
maybe I'll continue on this topic. I have some more energy to share with this. That yes, to anyone curious, we did a podcast about talking exactly about the subject, and briefly I explained that this is a process of it is to do with energy. So coming back to Sadhguru's wife, how this happened to her, she continued chanting this mantra until she gained the necessary energy. And then at one point she realized this metal that Sadhguru has been gifting me, this is kind of slowing me down. This is not allowing my energies to expand. And she went into the bathroom, she took it off, and then a few minutes later she was totally gone. Then something noteworthy, Sadhguru described him taking off. Finally, when this process was finished, they saw that she had like a almost like a burn on her heart space because she left through this area, through the heart chakra. And what is the best evidence that we have to support the claim that Sadhguru didn't actually do anything bad or evil with his wife? And it is this. It is Sadhguru's wife's samadhi spot. It's her samadhi place in the Isha Yoga Center. What is a samadhi place? It is when a being of extraordinary potency does decide to leave consciously through this through the energies. And what I understand, their body is cremated and the ashes are taken and placed inside of a stone kind of enclosure. And over time, the energy of the ash exudes into the stone and it consecrates it naturally. It becomes a consecrated space. Then you can go to that place, you can go sit in Vijay Samadhi in Isha Yoga Center, and you'll become instantly meditative. Or if you have any kind of perception or sensitivity, you'll understand instantly, okay, yes, this is how it was done. This is not some. The opposite is also true, that if a person was, taken out in a very harmful way, someone did bad things to you, you can also feel that, especially if it's, in a proper place. So if you're also sensitive, you can say, okay, this person was, something really bad happened to this person. So nothing like this has happened. Unfortunately, now this place is closed in the Isha Yoga Center because people, I guess, don't know how to appreciate this. But a long time ago, someone mentioned this to me that I'll have him on the podcast too very soon. He said that he would go to this place, and it was one of the best places that he's visited in the Isha Yoga Center, alongside with Janalinga and maybe Linga Bhairavi. This place was so powerful for him, and he would just sit down and he can easily and effortlessly just be meditative for hours, or maybe not hours of stretching it, but for a very long time. So that beautiful, nurturing heart space that VG left with, that's there. So that's the best evidence that I have to support that Sadhguru didn't do this. It is her actual physical energy, which is tangible.
Yeah, it came back to me what was on my mind. I feel like people really get attached to a lot of stuff in the material world here. You know, some people get attached to other people, some people get attached to their vehicle, their house, whatever. They get attached to stuff here. And so, like, I literally don't have anything. I don't have a kid, I don't have a wife, I don't have any of that stuff. And so, my question to you is, does it matter if you have a lot of attachments? Should you be unattaching while you're here and you're somewhat conscious? Should you be getting rid of certain things? What should you be doing if you're on this ultimate path to mahasamadhi?
Well, I'll answer generally, and so I can also answer specifically to you that generally speaking, yes, it's advantageous to live the life of a monk if you're starting out on this path. That if you live in a sangha or a spiritual community where people feed you once a day and you wear robes and nothing else, and that's your whole life, and you meditate, that's like you're burning very fast through your impurities. But if you're living in the world, does that mean that you're not going to be holy? You're not going to attain this goal? Absolutely not. In fact, it's not an external thing that you have to focus on or do, it's internal. So you can live the life of a billionaire, multi billionaire, you can have all the toys in the world and still be untouched by the physical world. Because in reality, in fact, you actually don't own anything in the beginning in the first place. So whether you have a house or don't have a house, or a child or no child, or wife or no wife, you it's the same thing either or. You don't own these things. So once you come to that realization, you can play in this world any way you like and not be harmed by it, not be touched by it, and be as spiritual as a monk living in the caves.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just a lot of other people that I watch and listen to, I listen to a lot of like near death experiences and reading, like, people are trying to figure out how to get out of here and not come back. A lot of people don't like this place. I don't like this place. I don't want to come back here. I want to go to a different realm. I think this realm is somewhat of a penile colony full of, there's a lot of people you don't really want to be around here. So I want to get out of here. And I hear a lot of people talking about, you know, disattaching from this world. That way, if, and you probably know a lot about this stuff, but once you pass, there might be certain spirits like your grandma or somebody like that, and it might not actually be your grandma. You know what I mean? It might be something else to bring you back into this. So what I'm getting at is, you really want to try to get out of here and not come back here, because in my opinion, this is not the place to be. I feel like there's better places than where we are. I feel like this is kind of like the penile colony of the astral realm. There's not a lot of people here that you really can trust. So I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to not come back here. I'm trying to go to a better place if there is one, which hopefully there is one.
Yes, there definitely are better places in the universe, better places than the human realm. Human realm is quite difficult, quite challenging, quite painful, but also very beautiful. It's in the middle. It below this is the animal realm and the ghost realm and the hell realm, and above this is the kind of heavenly beings and gods and angels and everything else. We're kind of in the middle. So pretty much equal amount of pain and equal amount of pleasure you can experience here and as a human being. That's what I mean by it's in the middle. Yes. But this is a fantastic place because it offers so much potential when it comes to spiritual growth. I know this from personal experience also that you may think that, oh, angels and they're so nice, and it is nice, and they're so wise. Well, not necessarily. Angels, just like demons or just like human beings, they come, some are wise, some are dumb, and some are somewhere in the middle. So it doesn't mean just because you're an angel, you're having a fantastic life. Well, I'm sure you're having a fantastic life because it's so much pleasure. But that's also impermanent. That's also doesn't last for a long time. And once you inevitably end that realm of existence, where do you go? Where is the causes you've set in motion to lead you somewhere higher? I don't believe you've set any. So while you're a human being, you have the option to reap so much fruits of the Dharma, the laws of nature. If you set the right causes in motion, you won't ever have to come back anywhere. And that's the whole point of this game. You have to finish this game, complete this. If you keep coming back, you're repeating the same round over and over. Why are you doing that? Is it so much fun? Well, maybe. First 12 times living a human being's life maybe is fantastic. But then after the 13th, doing exactly the same thing over and over again, or going into a angelic realm or going into an animal's body, it's no. You want to finish the game so that the game says game over. Good job, you beat it. Now go watch the end credits and whatever happens after you beat this game. So the point is to beat the game. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I think mahasamadhi is beating the game. Like I think the other stuff we talked about before, using tools, jumping, hanging, doing all these other things. If that was beating the game, I think a lot of us would have already chose that because it's rough out here. It's rough. So I really do feel as though mahasamadhi, which you just enlightened me to uh, a lot, a lot more. I knew all this stuff. I just forgot about it. I do really believe that if you can attain that, you don't belong here.
Absolutely, you're 100% correct. That, there's a process of being born and then there's dying. And a natural cycle is complete in that way. So if you don't learn where the exit is and you don't consciously leave, that's the only option you have is wait until old age catches up to you and your life's energies seep out of the body. There's no conscious control over that. When you find conscious control over you exiting this space, or this being, that's when, well, you're conscious of the whole process. Not only of your end, not only of death, but of birth also. You see it clearly. Ah, okay. And if you're some master of masters like Sadhguru and you really do decide to come back and soak in the mother's womb, you can choose to do so for a specific purpose. But in reality, there really isn't any need to, and I'm not sure exactly what happens. I have some guesses. You just kind of, I don't want to say this because this might scare people, but what happens to an ice cube when it's thrown in the ocean and left for some time? Well, it becomes the ocean. So that's exactly what happens to you. You just kind of go back into everything.
So let me ask you this real quick about Sadhguru, because he did say a long time ago he wasn't going to be around too much longer. I can't remember at what age he was supposed to have left. Do you remember?
He said that, well, definitely he won't live past 80. I think he said that concretely, but I don't know how long he's planning to stay around.
No, but like he said a long time ago, he was supposed to already be gone.
Oh,
By
yes.
like I can't.
Yeah, by the end of the consecration of the Janalinga, which he was maybe like 42, he should have gone, but he stayed around for a few more decades.
So yeah, I wonder why he. Well, I guess he was busy consecrating the Dhyana and doing all this other stuff. He didn't choose to leave in his early 30s, but he says a lot of stuff that isn't true. So that's a little bit of a red flag. But he is Sadhguru, and he is a. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I'm glad he did stick around because he sure did help a lot of people. I just, there are certain things that, one thing I want to bring up real quick before you head out is that I feel like speaking the truth matters. I feel like what the words that are coming out of our mouths are kind of like writing code per se in this realm. And I feel like a lot of people just lie a lot and they just say whatever. And I just feel like truth matters. That's all.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true.
And I want to say this real quick, Shiva, because you know, I'm glad that we're having these conversations. I feel like you're really helping me a lot. I mean, I don't have the 220 Canadian to pay you. I mean, I gave you money before, but right now I'm not doing so well. And I just want to say that you are just talking to you is really kind of bringing me into a higher vibration or whatever you want to call it. It is helping me. Shiva does have he. There's something about him that is just I can go down some pretty dark roads, and he kind of brings steers me back into the light. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here. And I don't know if you're really planning hard on doing mahasamadhi in your early 30s, but it's up to you. Um, and I just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much. That's a very kind compliment. I definitely don't plan on leaving anytime soon, especially in my early 30s. That's just when life is beginning. But I will consciously leave. If life doesn't take me away by force, mark my words, my friends, this will be done. And I'll make sure to televise it and broadcast it and have it be a spectacle. And I'll explain what I'm doing. And I'll leave a powerful place also when I go. So stay tuned for that. That's probably going to be way down the line when I'm finished everything, when it's time to go fully. And yes, I also enjoyed talking with you. This is very valuable for me too. The energy raises quite a lot when I speak with you, and specifically because you know how to talk about Sadhguru, or to Sadhguru, you could say. So I can't really do this with many people, unfortunately, but I'm very fortunate to get on this call. And in fact, you reached out to me. I didn't reach out to you, which was spontaneous. You reached out to me out of the blue. I thought that you kind of left some conflict, some social conflict happened back in the day with you and I thought that you were totally gone. And then you contacted me. It was a surprise, and you said, "Let's do a podcast." And your enthusiastic energy and almost a little bit like got me a little bit nervous. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, what he's going to say. But that was one of the most valuable podcasts that we did. Lots of viewers tuned in, and people seem to enjoy this. People do enjoy this. So I definitely want to continue, and I'm still getting many benefits from it. And to conclude our session here, to conclude our podcast talking about Sadhguru's wife, yes, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, Sadhguru didn't kill his wife. It would be the most miracles of miracles if he somehow announced, yes, I did this, but he said many times no. That's not a man that he lies. I've never seen him consciously lie or deceive people. It's just not possible. And all the positive work he's done, it's just not characteristic of someone to do that. And there's also tons of evidence to support that he didn't do this, like the mahasamadhi space. And this is just something that people made up, and they make up all sorts of things that he destroyed a rainforest and all these things. And it's also very easily proven that he didn't do these things. So people have it out for gurus in India, and don't be fooled. If you want first-hand experience of to know what Sadhguru is like, you go visit the Isha Yoga Center. You go sit inside of the Jnanalinga. You'll know firsthand. This is not some being that does malicious things. I don't think he's done anything malicious in his entire life. So that's it. That's the end of our show. James, I'll leave the last words with you.
Yeah, the only reason that I have brought up all these things about Sadhguru and Isha is because I want to be a part of Isha. I want to be there. I want all of us to come together. I don't want us to be apart. I want Shiva to be there. A knife should not have stopped him from being there. My financial status should not stop me from being there. Anybody who wants to be a part of Isha should be a part of Isha. We should be doing something for Isha. That is why I'm the one out here bringing these things to people's light, is because these things shouldn't be happening. So I'm the only one out here saying these things, and Anyway, we'll get into those topics on another time. We could talk about all the things that, we don't have time to talk about today.
Yes. Yep, many more podcast ideas are coming up, especially when it relates to Sadhguru. So stay tuned. Until tomorrow, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.